Greetings everybody, coming to you from my 2014 Mercedes-Benz GLK250 Bluetec diesel. So I wanted to do an update video on this as to what's been going on with it lately and kind of just go quickly through my history with it. So I originally bought this with 144,000 on it. So I've put a little over 41,000 on it, and you know, I'm actually not sure what month I bought it, but I want to say I'm coming up on owning this thing for about 3 years. And the short version is it has been surprisingly reliable and surprisingly trouble-free. Let's talk mainly about the last 25,000 miles, because that was really the last event, I guess, that was notable, and then a couple things that's happened since then. So the AEM warranty on this ran out at 167, but at 160 the check engine light came on, and it was throwing a code for the setting motor on the intake manifold. The dealer replaced that, but the code didn't go away, so they ended up replacing the whole intake manifold, which is actually a common thing on these to crack at higher miles. It's plastic, so I got that for free, and in doing so they also replaced the fuel filter housing, which also is known to crack and leak. So I got that thrown in because they said they broke it during the repair, so they made it right. And then at 161, I had a NOx sensor go out. That was also covered. So since then, there was quite a few thousand miles with absolutely no issues whatsoever. And then the check engine light came back on, and I pulled the code, and it was for something related to either the setting motor or the intake manifold or something along those lines. I thought, you know, that code is probably bogus. So I drove the car like that for a couple thousand miles and just kind of ignored it. And yeah, I actually want to say that came on around 180, I'm not sure. And then eventually the check engine light turned itself off. And that was, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 miles ago. And you know, it's been running fine ever since. Now, normal wear and tear, I did have, normally I do this myself, but for whatever reason I wasn't feeling like doing it. I had front and rear brake pads and rotors. That ended up becoming a bit of an adventure because the dealership over tightened the parking brake, and it overheated one of the rotors, and it was kind of a mess. I actually had to take it back a couple times because it was making a lot of noise, and it was kind of a pain in the butt, but it's been sorted out. I've been kind of afraid to use the parking brake since then, because I don't want it to stick or start making noise again or whatever. But yeah, that was a few thousand miles ago, and it's been fine. So more recently, and I actually, what I'm about to tell you, I thought was an issue with the brakes. So it would happen where if I were to, like at this speed, to lightly put on the brakes like that, the whole car would shake and make some noise, and it felt like it was coming from the rear, because I didn't really feel it in the steering wheel. So it had all the signs of either a warped rotor or pad transfer or something to that effect. So I ended up taking that to the dealer, and turns out it was one of the, I don't remember exactly what they called it. And I had the one on the other side replaced at one point, maybe, I don't know, 20,000 miles ago, give or take. I don't remember exactly, but there's this control arm thing on the very bottom. I don't know if it's called a control arm or whatever. Can't remember, but it's liquid filled, and the liquid had leaked out, and the whole rubber had cracked and whatever, so there was a lot of slop in that. They ended up replacing that that arm, and I guess apparently they had to disassemble some parts of the suspension that required an alignment, so that was done, and it's been great ever since. So basically that's really the only issue I've had in the last 25,000 miles or so, was that suspension arm. Everything else, wear and tear. Now I want to do an update on my oil changes. So with the type of driving I do, and I know there's some people on the internet that would have a meltdown once they heard my oil change interval. So every time I change the oil, I use Lubermoly, because I think that's among the best you can buy, and it actually tested better than Mobil 1 for lower miles with the Blackstone test. So I've been hovering just under a 15,000 mile oil change interval, and you know, it's funny, you could tell people that even though you're getting the oil tested with Blackstone and it's coming out fine, they would still freak out because 15,000 miles, oh my god, you're gonna kill your car, blah blah blah. No, I won't. The oil came out actually quite good after 15,000 miles. Now granted, I never drive this car less than 20 minutes at a time, and the vast majority of those miles are highway miles and longer trips. So that has a lot to do. I mean, 15,000 miles of short trips would definitely not have the same results, especially like in the winter where you don't warm the oil up and whatever. So yeah, the TBN was still 2 or greater after that many miles on the last evaluation. All the wear metals are great, and I found out that Lubermoly or Liquimoly, whatever they call it now, I can't remember, has what was it, potassium or sodium as an additive, and typically that would indicate a coolant leak, but it's usually sodium and potassium that are elevated on these tests when there's a coolant leak. So I've been communicating with Blackstone and letting them know that based on my research, it looks like that oil does actually have sodium as an additive. The last couple analysis results were pretty consistent with that, and there's no coolant loss or anything. So this car is on its original water pump. They say that that's kind of a failure item, but I have pretty much the entire history on this car, and it's never had a water pump replacement. And so an update from a previous post that I made about this is my driver's side CV axle. So I made a couple videos about that. It pretty much ever since I've owned the car, or probably ever since I've owned the car, and probably way before that, it's been loose in the okay, so it fits into the oil pan, and I think it's in two pieces. There's an extender shaft and then there's the CV axle, and they fit through a hole in the oil pan. So and then there's like a support bearing there that rests on the oil pan. It's been, I'm going to close my sunroof for now. It has been loose. You can dig through my videos if you're interested in seeing that. It has been loose ever since I've owned the car. It's not gotten any worse. And I found out that I was able to get a long zip tie and strap it around one of the suspension bushings or suspension arms or something like that, and stick it in between the oil pan and the bearing outer part to keep it from moving around as much. And it's actually probably due for me to get under there and do that again. So eventually I'm going to get under there and do that, although I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But you know, it's a nice feeling to have that tight. So that was kind of a bush fix. But yeah, it's been fine the whole time I've owned the car. I've seen videos of people getting their oil pan replaced and their axle replaced due to that. And my experience has been that's not necessary. Now, I don't know if they all do that, all these GLK250s. It would be interesting to see another one and get under there and grab a hold of the axle and see if it yanks up and down. But anyway, yeah, this has been such an amazingly reliable car. These are very well built cars. It has been, you know, pretty much trouble free for me. Just a great car overall. So that's the latest update at 185,782 and counting.